Taiwan is one of the world's top producers of photovoltaic cells, but most of them are for export. One of our biggest customers is Freiburg in Germany, which is called Solar City because there are solar panels everywhere. Although Freiburg is Germany's sunniest city, it still gets less sunlight than Taiwan. In the latest in our series called A City's Green Journey, we go to Freiburg to find out why it is light years ahead of Taiwan.
The sunniest city in Germany is Freiburg. You can see solar panels everywhere, and there's even a display showing how much solar power is being produced. But the sunlight here is still less than South Taiwan.
The story of how Freiburg turned into a solar city starts with the anti-nuclear movement. In the 1970s, the government made plans to build a nuclear power station 30 kilometers from Freiburg. Residents fought the proposal for 5 years before they forced the government to scrap the project.
So I don't like it, of course. And nobody really knows what would happen if there is an accident. If there would happen something like in Fukushima, so we are in this 20-kilometer circle.
Professor Volker Widwer, who lives in Freiburg, is a senior advisor at the Fraunhofer Institute for Solar Energy. His home was the first in the community to be installed with solar panels.
So you see in the upper side, per year I am producing 5,000 kilowatt hours. And I need only 2,000. So I produce 2.5 times more than I need. And I'm selling it to the utility.
A few years ago, the professor completely remodeled his 30-year-old home to make it more energy efficient.
Triple glazed windows. And these gray areas you see here, they were using the solar energy to heat the wall. It's like polymer capillaries which are transparent for the light, and the light goes through this material to the wall, heating up the wall, and the heat cannot go back.
Another place that stores solar energy is this glass house, which produces enough electricity to power the home for 6 months. Freiburg is famous for its solar-powered buildings. Architect Rolf Disch designs the heliotrope building, which rotates to face the sun, the Sunship building, and over 60 plus energy houses that have solar panels for roofs. All these buildings produce more power than they use.
Oh, it's much more comfortable. It's always warm. Even if you get up in the middle of the night and it's winter time, outside it's cold and inside you're warm. You can walk around with a t-shirt. And sitting by the window, it's not cold. The windows are very thick, so you sit by the window and feel fine.
The roofs and walls in Freiburg are covered in solar panels, but you may be surprised to learn that most of them are made in Taiwan. Taiwan is the second largest manufacturer of solar panels in the world. This is a production line in Hsinchu, but only 1% of the completed products will stay in Taiwan because the majority are for export.
Electricity is cheap here, but our environment is paying the price. Who enjoys our cheap PCs and DRAMs? Those users, and they are mostly overseas. If photovoltaic cells were made in Germany at $8 a kilowatt hour, the production power cost would be 48,000 NT dollars, which is $36,000 more expensive. The profit for Taiwan solar panel makers is based on our power subsidy.
Taiwan has the capacity to make clean energy, but its users are mostly overseas. The hot and windy island lacks the will, not the way, to develop solar power. Taiwan's average solar radiation still tops Germany's sunniest city, and although Freiburg is over 200 times smaller than Taiwan, It produces 21.6 megawatts of solar power, which is 1/5 of the whole of Taiwan's 101.6 megawatts.
Without a structured energy policy, Taiwan keeps producing without cutting back. Tomorrow, we will visit a German power station which can make electricity but emits zero carbon dioxide.